Hello, everyone, and welcome to EH for Enthusiasts. Here's what's coming up.
After the 3 trains that the operator of a 4th train to run over 72-year-old Brian Mitchell recognised his body laid on the track at Stratford Station.
We look at TfL's plans to use AI to prevent people from jumping into the train tracks, as high numbers of people have been recorded doing so across the last 5 years along many of the London Underground's networks. Also ahead, we see electric buses from East London's Route 323 being used for Silvertown Tunnel's new cycle shuttle. This will see 5 zero-emission buses removed from the 323 and will be replaced with non-electric vehicles. And we also look to the set date where the new Superloop line will be released. Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm EH for Enthusiast in London, and we look to the new plans which have been set out by London Mayor Sadiq Khan as he aims to use AI to improve platform safety. The experimental technology is already being trialled on the DLR platforms at Custom House in East London after similar systems were tested at Willesden Green's Underground station. At Custom House, security camera footage is reviewed by an AI program, rapidly identifying and detecting objects on the rail while ignoring train movements. Sadiq Khan has said that this technology will improve customer safety between the gap from the train and platform edge. This comes a week after rail safety investigators revealed a man who died on the London Underground was run over by the Jubilee line 4 times by 4 different trains. TfL is now exploring other potential locations across the TfL network for similar trials, which it hopes to have in place during the second half of this year. At Willesden Green Station, a wide-ranging of AI trial was used in 2022 to 2023 to detect not only potential fare dodging, but also whether weapons are being brought into the station and whether people were standing too close to the edge of the platform. On Monday, Sadiq Khan announced On Monday, Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour Prime Minister and the Prime Minister of the UK, announced an AI Opportunity Action Plan, which hopes for the growth and delivery of more efficiently across the UK. TfL's new AI scheme is not part of Sir Keir Starmer's plans, but the network is now exploring other potential locations across TfL for trials, which it hopes to have in place during the second half of this year. Sadiq Khan has said that safety is always TfL's priority, and each injury is one too many. TfL plans to address the platform train incidents and sets out specific and targeted action to keep passengers safe, quickly alert staff when incidents do happen, and respond promptly to minimize the impact across the tube network. In November, the blind Labour Lord Blunkett called for an urgent review into what has been described as a death trap. Tube platforms after he was injured falling into a gap as he boarded a district line train at Westminster Station. In response, Sir Sadiq Khan said, quote, TfL and I are very sorry that Lord Blunkett was injured while travelling on the tube, and we are sharing our plans to improve platform safety. He also added, quote, I know that while millions of people travel safely on the tube every day, and while the tube platform train safety record compares favorably to the national rail network, each injury is too many. TfL's plans to address platform train incidents set out specific and targeted actions to keep customers safe, quickly alert staff when incidents do happen to minimize the impact. As part of TfL's plans, new technology in 2025, including artificial intelligence systems, will be in place to improve customer safety at the interface between the train and platform edge. TfL is prioritizing this work over the coming years. Now, we turn our attention to the electric buses which are being stolen in quotes from the London route 323 for the new Silver Line Tunnel shuttle bus route, and diesel buses are being put back onto the road for the 323. TfL has been accused of greenwashing in bid to safeguard tunnels' disputed eco credentials. A 2 million bike bus, which will transport cyclists through the Silver Line Tunnel, will use electric buses which have been stolen from a route in East London. This route is the 323, and aging diesel buses have been reintroduced because its fleet of zero emission electric buses has been commanded in an apparent bid to safeguard the contested eco credentials of London Mayor Sadiq Khan in his controversial 2.2 billion road tunnel under the Thames. Now, Transport for London has confirmed that the 5 battery electric buses have been removed from the 323, which links from Canning Town and Mile End via Bromley by Bow Station, to enable them to be reconfigured and deployed to carry cyclists in and their bikes through the new Silver Line Tunnel. And the tunnel is due to open on Monday, April 7th of this year. Car drivers will be required to pay the toll of up to £4 per crossing, and the same leeways will be imposed on the Blackwall Tunnel, meaning that it will be tolled for the first time in its 130-year history. Cyclists are not allowed to ride through either tunnel, but the bike bus will operate a shuttle to carry cyclists and their bikes between the dedicated cycle stops in North Greenwich and adjacent to the Royal Victoria DLR station on the north side of the river. It will be operated by Stagecoach East London, the same firm that operates the 323 route, and the bike bus will operate 5 times an hour from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. 7 days a week. Dominic Leggett, of the Stop Silvertown Tunnel Traffic and Pollution Campaign group, said, quote, "The cyclist bus is a microcosm of the entire Silvertown scheme. TfL PR sell it as green, but in fact, by taking electric buses from the 323 and adding new diesel buses there, will end up increasing the pollution and CO2 emissions. Likewise, the claim for the new tunnel reduces congestion and air pollution, but in fact, their own figures showed that opening the Silvertown locks in more traffic, congestion, carbon emissions, and air pollution for decades to come." Last week, Sadiq Khan said to Londoners that they should be incredibly proud of the Great Silver Line Tunnel, which he decided to build in a bid to ease congestion at Blackwall Tunnel. The 1.6 tender was awarded in February last year on the condition that the existing electrics will be used on the route. The London Omnibus Traction Society first reported that the 323 had been de-electrified to enable its buses to be used for the bike bus service. About 1,800 of London's 8,500 buses are zero emission. Sadiq Khan wants all of London buses to be zero emission by 2030, but requires government funding to help accelerate the replacement of diesel buses. A TfL spokesperson has said that electrifying London's buses is a top priority. For us, and London has the largest zero emission fleet in Western Europe. We do continue to roll out an average of 40 new zero emission buses on the network each month. We took the decision to move 5 buses over to the Silver Line Tunnel shuttle routes for operational reasons, but we are working as soon as feasible to get the route back being electric. However, almost half of the cyclists have said that they will not use this service in a public consortium by TfL. The report found that 43% of cyclists who responded to the survey said that they will not use either a cycling shuttle bus or the cable car to cross over the river with their bike. It's also found that a clear majority of the 83% of respondents who would be more likely to use the service for leisure journeys rather than for commuting. Over half of the respondents, 54% of them, also said that they would not pay for a shuttle bus service. However, the report found was that 79% would consider using a ferry service if one were provided in a future clear majority. The report did find that one of those expressing a preference, 37%, would use the would use a shuttle bus compared to 25% who would use cable cars. The most common complaints in the consortium was that there would be a segregated cycle lane or tunnel for cyclists in the Silver Line Tunnel. TfL did respond eventually, saying, "We've carefully considered whether cyclists could be accommodated with the new Silver Line Tunnel, and the analysis indicated that there'll be limited demand for facility for cyclists within the tunnel, and that there'll be a significant challenge designing a facility that would be both safe and attractive for cyclists, given how long the tunnel will be and how long allowing bikes into the bus lane is not acceptable for a road safety perspective due to the concentrated nature of the tunnel environment, and it would impact speed and reduce the reliability of buses." Now, moving on from the cyclists not being allowed to enter into the Silver Line Tunnel, I would like to expand on that by looking at the Silver Line and Blackwall Tunnel tolls, which are starting from April as soon as the new tunnel is open. Now, for the drivers using either of the Silver Line or Blackwall Tunnel, will have to pay a toll, with car drivers paying £4 at peak times each way and £1.50 at off-peak times. TfL said that the tolls will surpass the amount of traffic and air pollution and is adding free bus routes for the first 12 months alongside uh, with a cycle shuttle bus service across the River Thames. But opponents say that the new tunnel will attract more congestion to the area and impact air quality. Now, looking at the charges for the Silver Line and Blackwall Tunnel during standard off-peak charges, motorcycle drivers, and motorcycle and cars will pay £1.50 standard. Large vans will pay £2.50, and heavy goods vehicles, i.e., buses and large lorries, will pay £5. The peak charges from Monday to Friday, northbound, from 6 a.m. to 12 till 10, £2.50 for motorcycles, £4 for cars and small vans, large vans £6.50, and heavy good vehicles £10. Southbound is the same prices as well. At all times, £2.50 for motorcycles, £4 for the cars, large vans £6.50, and heavy goods vehicles £10. Now, penalty charges will be £180 if there's anything which has been done in the tunnel, which has been reduced to £90 if paid within 2 weeks, maximum 1 PCN per day. First announced in 2012, Sadiq Khan reveals the scheme when he came into office, saying that would be vital to link across the Thames and East London. Mr. Khan, who is the chair of TfL, gave the tunnel the go-ahead, funded with a private finance initiative, against future earnings at a cost of 2.2 billion. He also increased the number of bus services that will use it, and there'll be a bus to carry cyclists and their bikes soon. In September, Conservative councillor for Bexley in South East London, Richard Dement, said that the tolls will create a two-tier London, adding in central and western London, where there are far more crossings, no tolls are changed. It will make South East London even more isolated than it is already. He's particularly against the decision to introduce a toll for Blackwall Tunnel, which had no toll since it opened in the 1980s. Over here in the east, we have relatively few river crossings people going to have to pay for. But on the 3 bus routes that are used in the tunnel, there'll be free travel for at least a year, the mayor said. There'll also be free travel for the same period on the DLR between Cutty Sarks and Island Garden and Woolwich Arsenal to King George V stations. Discounts are also available for those on low incomes and small businesses. The London mayor has said that the toll charges for motorists will help current congestion and the crossing, adding that the current Blackwall Tunnel is on an average basis closed 700 times a year. A 5-minute closure leads to 3-mile tailback, leads to problems for small businesses, those trading, and those using the tunnel. The most unreliable bus in London is a single bus that uses the Blackwall Tunnel, the 108, running between Lewisham and Stratford International. But by having a charge on both tunnels, we can have improved public transport, improved river crossings, less congestion, and better air quality. Victoria Rance, on behalf of the Stop the Silver Line Tunnel Congestion, has said that the tunnel is now built, but there's an opportunity to take away the car and HGV lanes and repurpose it for clean public transport, cargo, bikes, and cycling. Instead, we have new capacity for up to 30,000 extra vehicles daily, including juggernauts in and out of Newham, already the most polluted borough in London. Those vehicles will worsen the health, safety, and quality of life for the children in the short term and worsen the well-being of the future generations in the long term. We now look back to my report and the new Silver Line tunnels when they were being built. Here's that report.
Tunnel, the £2 billion infrastructure project that the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, does not like to talk about. At one end we have Greenwich on the south side of the river, behind me is Newham on the north side of the Thames. This tunnel is due to open in the summer of 2025, when there'll be 2 lanes in 2 tunnels, one for buses, one for cars. Before that we have the mayoral election, and it's quite likely that this project could be one of the hottest issues in determining whether Sadiq Khan makes it back to City Hall for a 3rd term.
So at the Batman you have a horrific situation at Blackwall Tunnel where typically on any day during the peak periods there's a 20-minute queue for vehicles trying to cross the river in this part. East London historically has suffered very badly with a lack of river crossings, so people have no choice but to use Blackwall. You've only got Rotherhithe on one side, which is height, width and weight constrained in terms of the types of vehicles, or Woolwich Ferry, which has severe capacity constraints because of the nature of the ferry operation. And because we also have to shut Blackwall on a regular basis, typically about 700 times a year, due to issues in terms of its design. So having Silvertown there will ensure that people have a reliable way to cross the river. But importantly for us as well, a key part of the Silvertown tunnel is the provision of new cross-river bus services to ensure that we can accommodate more people crossing the river, but not more traffic. So to do that, we've got a user charge, which is going to be in place as well.
So what's it like inside? Well, it's seriously big, and this is just one of 2 tunnels. There's one just next door. This will take you north, the other one will bring you south. I'm at the southern end of the tunnel just now, really just beside where the Blackwall Tunnel pops up in Greenwich. The O2 Arena is not far away. The idea is that this should make a substantial difference to people trying to cross the river in their cars, but will it make air quality much worse? That is the big issue and an unanswered question as we stand just now.
this scheme is fundamentally three things. It's the new crossing, it's the user charge, and it's those new cross-river bus services. So you're not attracting more traffic, but you're solving the problems that you've got with congestion at the moment, as well as providing much better reliability in terms of people who need to cross the river, and providing for those people to be able to cross by public transport. So critical three elements that all need to work together to ensure the success of the scheme.
What is beyond doubt though is that Londoners, like it or loathe it, will be paying for this tunnel for at least the next 25 years. It has been built under a PFI scheme, and that means that there will be payments adding up to about £1.2 billion, meaning the total cost of Silvertown will be around £2.2 billion. So that's quite a legacy, regardless of who gets to be mayor next May.
Look, I've seen the congestion. I've seen the consequences when the Blackwall Tunnel is closed on a regular basis of the east of our city not having the infrastructure investment the west does. So you stand in Tower Bridge and look west, more than 80 river crossings. You look east, there's only one. It's not fair for those people in that part of London who can't use the bus because it's so reliable, because it goes through Blackwall Tunnel. They breathe in the poison because of the congestion. When there's a 5-minute delay on the Blackwall Tunnel, at least to a 3-mile tailback, what we've done though is made sure that the Silvertown Tunnel has 2 lanes reserved for double-decker buses. They're going to be zero-emission capable buses. We've made sure that local residents and businesses will benefit from the Silvertown Tunnel, but also we've made sure that the air in that part of London improves rather than gets worse.
And that was my report, looking back to when there was the first production of the Silver Line Tunnel. Now, this is set to open on April 7th of this year. Finally, tonight, we look at the launch date set for the free Superloop London bus route, which will run along the River Thames. The SL4 is one of 3 cross-river bus routes that will be free for a year. A Superloop bus route across the River Thames in East London is set to launch within 3 months to coincide with the opening of the Silver Line Tunnel. Londoners will have access to the new SL4 route, which is free for the first year. The river crossing between the Silvertown and Greenwich is designed to ease pressure on the nearby Blackwall Tunnel and reduce congestion around East and Southeast London. The new tunnel will also transform the bus connections of a number of buses of routes across the Thames, each hour rising from 6 to 21. The SL4 will run between Canary Wharf and Grove Park, and it's the last of the 10 Superloops to be launched after the SL8 from Uxbridge to the City opened in July 2023, 2 years ago. 2 of the London bus routes crossing the river will also be free for a year, and the 129 from Lewisham to Greenwich will end in Newham using the Silver Line Tunnel, while the 108 from Lewisham to Stratford will continue to operate every 10 minutes using the Blackwall Tunnel. Silver Line Tunnel, which has been under construction since 2021, has promised to reduce the journey time from up to 20 minutes during peak hours. The cyclists using the 1.4 kilometre crossing will benefit forests from a separate dedicated shuttle service because it can't cross the bridge due to the safety reasons, but it would have a bespoke design to distinguish them from the regular bus network. This service will operate every 12 minutes, 7 days a week, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. It will have 2 stops on each side of the river, with one north stop located on Seagull Lane, close to the Royal Victoria DLR station, and south stop called Millennium Way near the junction with the Old School Close. Drivers will use both Silver Line and Blackwall tunnels to face charges between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. daily. An off-peak rate of £1.50 will apply to vehicles registered with TfL AutoPay, with higher rates during peak hours. And the SL4 will be running shortly along both of those tunnels. That's it for now. If you ever miss our show, remember you can always catch the latest episodes shortly after it airs on our podcast. And remember, you can always catch us online on our website and all over social media. Thank you for watching, and goodbye from